I think the TMC's calculation is very simple. You know, whenever you do these things like Chokida Chor Hai, the Adani's proximity to the Prime Minister, it doesn't really work politically speaking. Rather, take up issues which really matter to the people. They did touch upon the Adani issue, but they also, circumvented it to talk about how LIC and the small savings of the people is likely to be affected by this so-called nexus. But today they talk about price rise. They also know that this is what is a people's issue. So what happens if you look at the larger picture, each individual component of the opposition unity, opposition front is catering to their own political constituency. So if you're going to look at a joint opposition front for 2024, that certainly doesn't seem to be happening. Let's also not forget Mamata Banerjee has gone on record to say for 2024 she is not going to be in any kind of an opposition alliance. She's going to be doing an alliance with the people, if I'm quoting her. And we are right over here at Vijay Chowk. I'm just going quickly before I hand over to you. Preparations very much over here. You can see the huge barricade of police, and in any case section 144 is always in place over here. High security zone close to the parliament, north block, south block. So the cops certainly are very geared up to that opposition march, which has not yet of course reached this spot.
Okay, all right, Pallavi, I'll keep coming back to you as and when that march really reaches this place where you at. Right now what we're doing is playing out another walkthrough, a ground report that my colleague Arunima has filed from the place where this march by the opposition parties has begun.
This is the scene outside Parliament House. You can see behind me there is JDU representation here. JDU के सदस्य भी यहाँ पर है सर. यूनाइटेड है, ऑपोजिशन की डिमांड के साथ जारी है.
आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि जिस तरह से विपक्षी नेताओं को निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, ये चिंताजनक, और यही वजह है कि विपक्ष के तमाम नेता की बात करें, चाहे कांग्रेस की बात करें, जेडीयू की बात करें, डीएमके की बात करें, सारी जो पार्टियां विपक्ष की सब एकजुट है. और इनका ये कहना है कि जानबूझकर जो है ईडी और सीबीआई
इस संवैधानिक संस्था का यही दायित्व है कि जिसके खिलाफ जांच करने का निर्देश प्राप्त हो उस पर कार्रवाई करे.
जी, तो जेडीयू के
क्या कहेंगे जिस तरह से
why is ED not carrying out probe in this case which is of a lot of importance? I can show you Samajwadi Party members also present here. There are members of the Congress which are providing the leadership, and there's Bahujan Samaj Party also. बहुजन समाज भी है यहाँ पे. किस डिमांड के साथ है? क्या कहने वाले हैं आप लोग?
एकदम जोर शोर से
क्या कहेंगे सर?
अरे ईडी को जो जर्मन शेफर्ड की तरह कुत्तों की तरह डाल रखा है अपोजिशन के खिलाफ, उसको बंद करो, हरास करना बंद करो.
Okay, Mr. Maran, quick word. Okay, Mr. Maran of the DMK is also carrying these banners and posters. Trinamool Congress were also told is being represented here. So they are at the first gate of the Parliament House where this protest is going on. Sanjay Raut spoke to us a short while back and said, if they stop us, we'll see how to take it forward. रंजीत रंजन जी हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. क्या आपको रोक दिया जाएगा विजय चौक पर? ऐसी संभावना लग रही है कि ये सत्ता पक्ष वाले जानेंगे क्या करेंगे, लेकिन एक तरफ.
Let me bring in my colleague Anshul, who is now joining us on the broadcast. Anshul, we were just watching that ground report that Arunima has filed for us. Now, she has mentioned the attendance of Samajwadi Party, JDU, BSP, even members of the TMC for that matter, where the big question mark really remained. Will we see that much talked about opposition unity finally in this march? What do you say?
Well, that seems like a very far-fetched thing to happen at this point in time, because yes, the TMC has already clarified that they are not going to protest in any way or any manner or come in support of the Congress party until and unless Adani Chaudhary is still the president of the West Bengal Congress. But I'll just try and show you the visuals over here. The protest march has in fact reached Vijay Chowk. If you could see, the team of police officials have already stopped them. They are asking them to go back because they do not have the requisite permission. Section 144 has already been imposed in this entire area, and hence they do not have the requisite permissions to carry out this protest march, and hence the senior officials of the Delhi police are now trying to convince the MPs to please step back and not create any sort of law and order situation over here. If you could see the posters and banners, a lot of MPs have already come out with these posters and banners. They are trying to talk to the police and find a way out. But yes, the Delhi police is very, very clear that they wouldn't be allowed to take out this march from here to the Enforcement Directorate office. In the next few moments, we can see that the protesters are trying to talk to the police officials. They are trying to convince them that they are ready to walk peacefully towards the Enforcement Directorate office and they will not create any sort of law and order situation. But yes, on the other hand, the Delhi police is also very adamant. They have strict orders and they are making sure that none of these protesters are even allowed to reach anywhere near the first barricade itself, and hence they have already been stopped right near about. So in the next few movements, if the protesters do not agree to go
Anshul,
back,
stay on with us. We will also get in a word from our colleague Pallavi now, and let's see from the vantage where she is at, what can you see? Have the leaders managed to reach where you at, or they've been stopped before it?
Well, I'm going to try and show you those pictures, which are just right behind me. They've actually taken precautions and barricaded off the entire area. And you can see the opposition leaders are very much holding those posters and placards in their hand. And you can also see those buses which have been stationed there. In an ideal situation, they would want to whisk away these protesting MPs to the nearest police station, detaining them on the grounds that Section 144 is very much in place over here, and that you cannot have this kind of a protest march very, very close to Parliament, especially when the Parliament session is very much on. But I think this is a point that they're trying to make. The misuse of the ED, the CBI, the investigative agencies, where the BJP, to quote the Congress party, is just like a washing machine. Anyone who leaves the other political parties, joins the BJP, the corruption charges against them are completely wiped out. But if you remain a part of the opposition parties, you raise questions of the government, you are actually not going to be allowed to do your work, because you are going to be facing endless investigative agencies questioning, from whether it's the CBI or whether it's ED. Let's also not forget, today was also the day when we saw the Yadav family in court. All of these pictures are now going to be used up by the opposition to precisely make the point. We have to hit the streets, because democracy inside Parliament has been compromised and we are all being targeted and not allowed to speak.
Absolutely. And Pallavi, this exact point that you are making about the RJD, what do we know about the RJD attendance? And of course, this is going to be a point now that Lalu Yadav, along with 16 others, have all got a bail by the Rouse Avenue court. Another case that was being pursued by the Central Bureau of Investigation, that exactly was the charge by the opposition. That's a misuse of agencies. This one will give more ammunition to the opposition.
Oh yes, absolutely. RJD is very much a part of the all-party meeting of the opposition parties. RJD has also been one of the most loyal allies as far as the Congress party goes, and also has been with them all time round. And we're going to try and get those pictures closer and closer. But as you get a sense that the barricading prevents us from actually going up to the spot. But you know, it's stationed over here. Clearly, the cops are negotiating with them and telling them to go back inside Parliament. But you know, when you talk about ED, CBI, the reason why it was chosen today is with a strategy and a purpose in mind. You know, we have been talking about a complete lack of opposition unity over the last few days. Not all political parties want to be a part of these opposition meetings on the Adani issue. The TMC, for example, does not even agree on a demand for JPC because they feel that it doesn't serve any purpose. It's better to have a court-monitored probe. So we don't see a unity on that ground. But if there's something which has united the opposition, it's been what they all have accused the government of: misuse of ED, CBI, whether it's been the Trinamool Congress or the BRS. One little, I would say, break which the opposition unity was the fact that BRS has agreed to be a part of this march. So that is one good news as far as the opposition is concerned.
And you know, this
but
point
Trinamool
about
Congress,
TMC that you were making, Pallavi, I'm really sorry to cut you out there. I want to bring in Arunima because I wanted to understand from her ground report whether there was some sort of a TMC attendance or not. Arunima, do we know about that? Is there any sort of TMC representation as far as this march is concerned?
Well, I didn't see any TMC MP when they started marching from inside. I didn't spot any of them, in fact, and I can't see anyone here as well in the crowd, even though the Congress members of Parliament who were leading the protest insisted, and I can see Jairam Ramesh there coordinating with the Congress, Karyakartas, the office bearers. I do not see the TMC MPs present here. In fact, I didn't even spot a BRS MP there.
Okay.
Aam Aadmi Party, Sanjay Singh was visible, and he did say that all parties are marching towards Enforcement Directorate, but they also wanted to make that point that this is not a march under the joint leadership or joint banner of the Congress Party. They're all taking their, distinct positions as well. So it is possible the TMC could make its point by reaching ED if they're allowed to go there.